We don't go home. 15-minute meeting, you know. We'll go ahead and sign up all the time. Put a microphone. Just got in hot from Vegas. Novel. It's only going to get worse in years to come. You able to get that smartphone? I've got one. I've got one. Hi, Paul. How are you, buddy? Surprised you recognize me. It's especially not good. Got your stuff?
Yeah, but I like the stuff that is fine.
See it right up there.
Jehovah's Witness wants to go to the watch
I'm here. Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting you in. I'm not hearing any noises from them yet. Oh.
Our clock on Zoom says 6 o'clock. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the town council meeting Wednesday, December 16, 2020. If we could all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank everybody for being here on Zoom and in person. Let's do a roll call.
Debbie Cobb here.
Mike McLaughlin here.
Del Vetto here. Marty.
Go ahead, sorry.
Marty Lisenby here.
Paul Edwardson here.
And declaration of conflicts of interest, anybody?
None.
Let me fire my heck out. I had a couple notes. Just wanted to update everybody on our COVID and town computer systems. We're trying to be as careful as we can in here as far as COVID goes. Town computer system, we have all of the laptops in that we ordered under the CARES Act. We're still waiting on the server to come in that's going to be able to connect all that together. It's not here yet, so that's why we haven't finished up with that, but it's all purchased and on the way and ordered, and either here or on the way. Wanted to remind everybody, mentioned this in the last meeting, that we got a Utah grant for about $33,000 from UDOT to help us pay for some general plan work and master road plans and so forth. So what it does is it pays for an expert to that's what they do, and that's what they have a degree in, to help us define what all that looks like. And so we've taken that grant of around $33,000 and we're submitting to CIB to see if we can get some matching money to double that and make it $66,000. So we're in the process of doing that as well. And our hope to do with that is so we can take that and get some expert help on zone regulation improvements and try to correct some of the imperfections that we have in our zone ordinances. And so that's underway right now. We're working on that. And we recently made a change on our lot line adjustments. I just wanted everybody to be aware that we're not charging for lot line adjustments. We're not having any municipal oversight on those. I was talking to an engineer that's has in the know, maybe Sean knows some of this history as well, but he tells me in May that they are changing it back to where you have to have municipal oversight because of problems that are happening all over where people are creating illegal lots because of it. And it sounds like it's going to go back in May to requiring that. So just wanted everybody to be aware that that's going on.
Well, I will say I'm drafting that right now for the state and mayor, and it's by no means a done deal. So,
yeah. So we'll be looking for some kind of improvements to that in some way. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but I just want people to be aware that we're on top of some of those changes that are happening. So on tonight's agenda, we have several items on here. Sunrise Engineering was going to go over the impact fee study. We have a public hearing for item number 1, ordinance 2020-27, an ordinance modifying impact fee study. I move that we, well, let me just put out a general statement, then you'll understand what is going to go on here. Is that John Barlow comes to us from Hilldale, and their policy has been to not publish notices in the newspaper because we don't have a local circulation newspaper in Apple Valley or Hilldale. And so we've beat this up a little bit today, and our attorney feels like that we should err on the side of caution and publish in the newspaper anyway. And so any public notices that we've done here recently are going to be renoticed and redone and have to go back to, in this case, some of these items that are, whether it's just a public hearing for town council, or if it's a public hearing from our last Planning Commission, those are gonna go back on their agenda to renotice in the newspaper and letters and the whole 9 yards. So those things are gonna go back to Planning Commission to have them take a look at that one more time. And that's so we have their noticing. We can press forward here and then someone can challenge us and get it overturned. So let's just do it the right way and make sure that we have all the i's dotted and t's crossed, and that can happen. So anyway, so I move that we table item 1, which is an ordinance 2020-27, an ordinance modifying impact fees.
Second.
And vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And item 2, regarding creation of one or more public infrastructures districts by the town of Apple Valley for Jefferson Canyon. I move that we table this item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Item 3, ordinance 2020-26, an ordinance creating the office of town administrator. And that is also requires public hearing because it's an ordinance. So I move that we table that item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. And discussion action item number 1 is discussion and possible action on ordinance 2020-28, and it's an ordinance amending the zoning map of AB 1329 to RE-1.0. And I move that we table that item. We're gonna have to send that back to Planning Commission with improved noticing. And I move that we table that item.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Item 5, discussion on ordinance 2020-27, an ordinance modifying impact fees. I move that we table that item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Item 6, discussion possible action regarding creation of one or more public infrastructure districts of the town of Apple Valley for Jefferson Canyon. I move that we table this item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 And item 7, discussion possible action on ordinance 2020-26, an ordinance creating the office of town administrator. And because we didn't have a public hearing, I move that we table this item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 And item 8, discussion possible action on appointment of town administrator. I move that we table this item for a future meeting.
Second.
Vote.
Aye.
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 Item 10.
9.
9.
Excuse me, 9, I'm sorry. Discussion possible action on resolution certifying authorized users of public treasure investment fund. Let me take a look at that real quick.
I think this is the same thing that we filled out last year.
Well, there's 2 things that we have. One of them is giving John permission to have access to the PTIF accounts. I just got to see how it's worded. Is it worded in such a way that it's the town administrator that we haven't created yet? And when I was going through my packet, I forgot to double check that item. If anyone can find that order.
It says town administrator on there.
All right, so I move that we table item 9.
Second.
I wonder if we can just fill in his name instead of town administrator.
I would think that PTIF would let you identify the individual as well.
Can we just modify that, Debbie, do you think? Just pull up the town administrator and just have it say John, because we need to get him to be able to look on our books.
What do you think, Sean?
I think you go ahead and appoint, does he have an official position right now?
No.
Title, in other words.
Well, the title we've been working towards administrator, but
But he did, but right now, he was
we could
hired
just
as.
say financial director, I guess.
Yes.
So I guess we could make a motion.
Yes.
We move to, where'd you find that in your packet, Debbie?
It was on page 57 out of 106.
All right. Thanks. A lot. see that administrator? I don't see that.
Right by his name, town administrator.
All right, so I move that we make a change on the item that's public entity resolution. On the certificate of authorized individuals, the name John Barlow, we just modify that title to financial director instead of town administrator, and approve John to be able to access those PTF accounts.
Second.
Sound clear enough? Okay. Vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, that carries. And the other item that we had here was discussion on progress assessment. Is John online?
I am, yeah.
You want to explain this?
Yes. So this is a new requirement. I think as of last year, the town did it last fiscal year, and the risk assessment is basically the exact same. Well, not basically, it is the exact same as last year. So as the council may have seen in the packet, there is a training that's required on this as well. So basically the state auditor publishes this questionnaire, and it's a self-assessment. You can find it on page 59 of your packet. So basically you go through and you score yourself on how you're doing in terms of your controls over financial reporting, and that creates a score. And that score tells you basically where you are in terms of your control over financial reporting, whether or not you're ripe for fraud or whether or not you're doing a good job making sure that your financial position is being stated fairly. So I would just recommend that the town council look to Mayor if you want to lead any discussion. If they have any questions on any one of these items or how they're answered, then I could answer them.
Yeah, on IT security, you gave us a 0. What's up with that? Why did we score a 0?
That's a good question. So that's what the town did last year, and since there was no improvements, I didn't think I needed to move that up. We are making some steps toward improving that. As the mayor mentioned earlier in the meeting, we're getting a server, and part of that, having a separate server from computer, will allow us to put a bigger firewall around the city's security system, or around the city's IT, all the data that's within that. And so potentially that could be improved by the end of the year. Does that answer your question, Mayor?
Yeah, I just didn't like the answer. So I didn't think our security system was that bad on IT, but I know that what we have ordered is a server with firewalls, and we have, way improved security over what this number is. In the next probably 2 weeks, it'll be installed. But cash receiving and deposits, why do we have a 0 there? You scored this, John?
I'm sorry,
Or
go ahead.
was this, were you the one that scored this?
I went off what Ben did last year. I should be able to answer these questions better. Basically what they do is they publish an outline that goes with this, and then they tell you, and they break it down a little bit better that says, okay, if you're doing this, then it should be this score. And if you're not, then it should be that score or whatever. So there's a guideline that goes with this, and there's some training.
What does this do, John? To be signed?
I'm sorry?
Sorry?
When does it due to be signed?
Oh, it's just once a year. And so, anytime before June 30th is fine.
Before June. I move that we table this item for our next meeting. I'm going to, I think some of these answers, I'd like to dig into why some of these scores are what they are a little bit better. And I know that we have some improvements coming in our systems next couple of weeks. We'll start. And vote.
Aye.
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 Discussion training, page 63.
Two of those, there's 3 ones that you told us we have to do, the Open Public Meetings Act, the grammar, and the board risk assessment. 2 of them are like 53 minutes long each, so it's long.
Yeah, we were, I think what we did is put links on there, if I'm not mistaken. And individually, also, each of us on planning and town council all have to complete that information. And I thought the link was here. We'll email a link out to you on those videos that we all have to watch. And we need to all watch those and then sign a certification that we've watched them.
So Mayor, that just here where that link is on page 63 of the package.
53, yeah, right there.
Oh, trainingauditor.gov. Yeah, it's, I've been there before, and it seemed like there's more than 3 videos there, though. I like to make sure we have specific links to the actual ones. If it's on your email, you can just click on it. It's supposed to have to type it in off a piece of paper. So we'll send out a email to all the planning and town council people. We'll take a look at that.
I sent John an email before, because when I did the test, the one for grammar request, once I got through the whole module, when you went to take the test, the questions were just flipping like this. It didn't give you a chance to, click on an answer. So
So you failed it?
we said I didn't take it. So I said to John, I'm not sitting through another 53 minutes of it.
All right. All right, maybe we gotta do it on some size an iPad or something. Maybe it's a difference or something. Well, anyway, we'll see if there's an issue with that. We have a consent agenda. Our next item is any questions on consent agenda.
Mike, anything here? I make a motion, we approve the consent calendar as stated in the packet.
I'll second.
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, just as a kind of an update on that part of it, Taylor was helpful in getting us all caught up on those, but the other thing that we're doing differently is from now on, within probably a couple of days of any meeting, we're going to be posting draft minutes on our website. And so when you have a meeting, within a couple, 3 days, there will be the minutes posted from that meeting. It'll have a watermark that says draft on it until we actually pass it off. But that's the way it's supposed to be doing. We've got really behind, and Taylor's 90 words a minute kicking in where she's been able to help get us caught up on it. So, and so we appreciate that. And the other thing that I probably neglected to do in the beginning of our meeting, I wanted to also announce that we did receive a letter of resignation from Jerry Zaharis from the Planning Commission today. And so we will be opening up we'd like to thank him for his service. It's not an easy job, taking time to be on a planning commission. It's a thankless job, and it's sometimes a brutal job. Depends on what hot topic is on the agenda. They get pounded on from one person or another based on that. And it's I thank Jerry for his service, and I think he's a loss to the planning commission. I think he was an awesome guy for it. So we will be posting the position for a planning commission person on our website. Probably when I get Michelle, I'm not sure what that is. Reports and recommendations. Events committee, we don't have really one right now. Planning commission,
Could I take a moment?
sure. Mhm.
A few questions that I find you that we're gonna be redoing. Oh, this is for you, so you know what you signed up for. Sunrise, gonna be reviewing, are we gonna also have a public hearing next week again?
Not next week, but next meeting, yeah.
The next meeting? Okay, we have a couple of questions about AB 1329 application that was denied last week. Does anyone on the town council have a conflict of interest in any aspect involving the development or sale of AB 13-29? And I really don't need, I need the answers written. I really like some answers before our next meeting. How does the town council plan to accommodate the water needs? Harold, have you been consulted on this project?
In general, we haven't gotten to the development agreement or to the drawings, but as a general understanding, yes, we'll try
Okay,
to provide water.
okay. And does this property, is this property within the boundaries of the FEMA grant application?
FEMA grant application.
Yeah, for the,
It's been studied. That's why we have this information.
okay. And has the construction of the roads to comply with ingress, egress for fire safety been agreed to by the developer of AB 1329?
Well, I think all of this is outlined right now because we haven't had a chance to have the developer say anything. So I'd like to stop you and say that it's not the time and place right now.
Okay, so these are just,
Because
These questions are all gonna be answered. I mean, it's not like we're trying to.
we can go back to the planning commission for hearing again. And, but some of these questions you're asking are, this isn't the time and place right now.
well, in reference to our phone call that we had, I felt that it was needed to be addressed.
Well,
And so
everything will
do
be
a lot of
addressed
other
at the
people.
right time. Everything
Okay.
will be addressed,
Okay,
but,
I would like to hear from the town council
but there's,
before
there is a right
the
way.
planning commission.
I would like to return it to you because you have the big questions. So I have questions about AB 1329 application. If you have some specific questions, I'd be happy to take a look at them, but without knowing what they are, I could provide you the answers.
Well, I need to know before the next planning commission.
You'll have to ask me more specific questions. You maybe ask them, but if you want something from me, I'd like a specific question.
Okay,
Sorry, you say you have questions, but then you don't say what they are.
All right, so the, fire department, fire chief, you have anything for us?
Well, it's been pretty quiet. We've only had a couple rescues, a couple car wrecks, and we've had a few ambulance calls also. We got some online training that we're starting here next week. That's gonna coincide with some in-house training that we have that I'm getting the bucks sent to me from UVU for. So that class I'll be teaching. We also, winter fire school is canceled this year, so everything's kind of still pending on this COVID thing, so hopefully they figure something out with that. Also, we've got, I don't know if everybody knows, but we're starting to get ice here and there, so watch out on the roads for ice. That's probably our main thing right now. We don't have much moisture around, so people aren't really looking out for that ice right now, and it's still out there. We're still getting a little bit of dew in the mornings and stuff, so watch out on that. Burn season, as I've said in the past, it's real tentative right now with our 500 feet of clearing. So our days are very few and far between right now, where the actual particulates will leave our atmosphere and won't stay in our area for days. So Really make sure if you're filling out a burn permit that you are looking at your index, because if you are not, then you can be fined. If the neighbors call in and tell us to come check out where you're burning, it's not my responsibility to make sure you're reading the burn permit and following the rules on it. So that's your responsibility. If you want to burn, then follow the burn permit and follow the procedures. The next burn season that will be opening, right now is March 1st through May 30th. So that's really all I have today.
Yeah, I have a
Yes.
question. Do you want pictures of land improvement that we're doing to
Yes.
make it more fireproof?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'll-
any kind of improvements.
that helps
You
through
can
your
either
points.
just jot it down and I'll take your notes, or you can do pictures, whatever you want to do.
Well, Norman's doing our last 0.79 acres of
Yeah.
woods. He's
Okay.
cutting out all the dead wood.
Yeah, that'll count towards our
Okay.
mitigation.
Thank you. Big claims, since you're here, Harold, you got anything you want to share?
Just want to comment on, we've completed the preliminary rehab of the Kingdom Springs. They're flowing now and we're trying to get some accurate measurements on that. Approximately the middle of January, we'll start the pipeline out of the canyon going down toward the highway. And that should take 2 or 3 weeks. And at that point, we'll be able to hook onto the tanks at Keenan. So it'll be a vast improvement and some excellent water, and then we'll divide it up from there. But at least we'll have it usable and in tanks probably within a month or so.
How big is that tank over there?
It's only 100,000 gallons. We have another one that's 50,000 gallons, isn't that right, Jimmy? Another one's 50,000, but there are some developments that are going to take place over there, and they'll be obligated to add some more storage as part of their development. So we can serve Canaan as is, but as anything further, we'll have to add tanks.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Did I see Jerry in here, or he's online? I don't know if Jerry wants to say anything about roads at all. I don't see him online anywhere. Okay. I'll open this up for public comment. Anybody wants to say something online or in the meeting, just raise your hand or something.
Which one are you on?
If you have something to say, you can step up to the podium here, please. Anybody online? Want to make a public comment? Anybody in the room? One once, twice?
A lot of people here, so nothing to say.
Chairman, I just have one quick question.
Looks like
Are these-
Bevan, hang on a second, please. Bevan, looks like you or Trace first to unmute yourself. Did you have something you want to say?
I was just wondering if, once information becomes available, if there's a way that on the parcel, if there's a way that we could have access to it.
On what parcel?
On the proposed parcel, the one that's proposing the zoning change, what is it, 1329? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's, you can subscribe to our notifications on did you get notices from us whenever we post something?
Well, I see that it's on the website. I've had a conversation with Travis. I'm just trying to figure out kind of more. I think everybody sort of has a thirst for knowledge about this and would like to figure out the best way to get the
Well,
information.
it'll be on the first meeting. I'll just let you know now. It'll be on the first meeting in January.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Anybody else? Yes.
No, I,
What, you all step up here so we can have you on Zoom, please. State your name.
where do I stand?
Right here.
Please.
I think
Right there at the
Right,
front.
right there.
most of you know me.
Yeah, but we have to have.
You don't like me, but you know me.
For the record,
But anyway,
your name for the record.
John Hay,
Thank you.
after living here going on 27 years, I've seen just about every problem this town's been involved in. The number one problem we've always had here is the water. Now, water, as you know, here in this area is a premium. Now, this idea of bringing this water from Canaan Springs and that putting it in the town system, that's not going to be enough water to develop Apple Valley if and when all this land area fills in, especially if they subdivide and bring subdivisions in here. Now, I understand that the Washington County Code, in order to build any new subdivision, you have to put paved roads, road base, curb, gutter. Now, if the development goes in by me, it'll affect me in a, I don't know if it could be a positive way if I was to live long enough to develop my land. But I was told when I gave the town the water, let them hook onto my water lines and go up through my property, that I could probably develop. They gave me one water hookup. But then after I was told, after I showed them a way to save about $20,000 putting up through my property and calling a man in California and getting an easement through his property, then I was told that I couldn't develop anything there after we'd spent a lot of money, because I'm on a cul-de-sac and you can't come through a cul-de-sac with a road. The only way I could develop if the land that's being talked about was developed, and they came in that way. Now, you even told me once, Marty, that if I let them put a park on my property to hold all the water that comes down through there, that maybe possibly I could develop. That didn't make sense to me, but you know where the problem is. All that water comes from up by the top of Rome Way when it rains. Part of it goes out into the 56 acres that they're trying to develop. There's a bog there where part of that water comes, and it comes down through my trail, down into Mount Zion Circle, floods that area, especially David Naylor's house. It's the only one below the water level. He has to put sandbags around his home. Then the water goes down in front of your property. The big ditch has been dug to drain it down to Walter Josie. Now, it isn't just that area. The whole town's got a water drainage problem. Number one, we have no storm drains there where they want to develop. If they did develop, the land is cheap, because 2 building lots down in Hurricane or St. George would cost over $600,000. So the price of that 57 acres is about what you'd pay for 2 building lots down in the valley. But the real cost is going to be when they develop, you've got to put the curb, gutter, paved roads, infrastructure, and then the sewer is a problem. If they don't put sewer in, they've got to put septic tanks. And then later on, if the sewer ever did come in, like they talked about, it was supposed to go in and go down below the golf course, and they were going to regenerate, they were going to recycle that to water the golf course. That didn't happen because we didn't have enough water there. The truth is, we've got a lot of problems. Now, you can talk about all these things they're going to do, but since I moved here, they didn't enforce the codes. People that moved here, they could keep all kinds of cars, junk. They could build any type of home, modulars. They had different codes for the modular houses on the foundations. They did the stick-built homes. And it goes on and on, the problems we have. Now, if they build a subdivision out there and they don't have protective covenants, and they don't control the building that goes in there, people can buy there, and I don't know what the planning commission will let them build. You could have a hodgepodge of homes out there that looks kind of like some of them here in Apple Valley. Now, I built 2 homes
not too long ago down in Dixie Springs. They've got the right system there. They have everything, curb, gutter, water, sewer, power, infrastructure. Plus, they have an architectural committee they have to present the plan to. They don't let them put any pink homes or odd colored ones, even red roofs or colors like that down there. You won't build a house like that in Dixie Springs. Now, I built 2 beautiful houses there, and you can go talk to the people. They love the homes I built. And I built a lot of good homes here. Some people didn't appreciate them. Some of the people I built them for even came against me when I wanted to develop my land. Anyway, now I'm old. I brought this in my handwriting because my wife, that's executive secretary, now is basically blind. She's legally blind and she can't type anything anymore, so I had to write it out. Now, she's been my partner. That
So if you want us to have that, we can.
I can leave this with
We
you.
can copy it and make sure everyone gets a copy.
Like I say, if I wasn't so old, I'm gonna be 82 in February, and my wife and I are supposed to celebrate our 61st wedding anniversary tomorrow. She can't go anywhere because she can't eat, she can't chew, she's got Bell's palsy. My main concern at this stage is my wife. Now, if I was younger, I'd sell out of here and move somewhere that makes sense. Now, all this stuff you're gonna do is, I think, premature out here. We don't have any stores. Colorado City's got the streams, they got water, some water, they've got better infrastructure, they got paved roads, curb and gutter, sidewalks, they've got a sewer plant.
They've got 4,000 people.
They do, and they have a tax base because they've got some industries. We have no tax base. You told me we couldn't even fill the potholes because we didn't have any money. Now, if you can't fill the potholes and those thinking where you put the lines across the street. Anyway, maybe this doesn't make sense to all of you, but I've said what I want to say.
Thank you.
I'll leave this here.
Appreciate your
Thank you,
comments.
John.
You can, whatever you do here, good luck. I've tried to build beautiful places and make this a better place. And it's been hard.
Hello, I'd like to say something. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. This is regarding AV 1329. I have a question and a comment. My question is, who does the city retain to draft development agreements?
The developer agreements typically are done by the attorney of the party that's wanting the developer agreement. And then our attorney, myself, and even the council is involved in reviewing those agreements for any inadequacies. And it usually takes a couple of months to negotiate because the attorneys, they like to take something that's real easy to make it real hard. So is that accurately?
That's correct, yes.
That's a official statement, but so it's, they typically come in with here's what their understanding is. And then we beat it up and add in what items that we feel like are missing. And we come up with what we feel like is the right way to handle any particular development. And in those development agreements, we put in protections for the community that we feel like are important. And that developer agreement becomes recorded on that exact property with the county recorder's office. And so even if that developer does not perform and continue, that agreement is still with the land and would go on to any future. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I have a follow-up question based on your answer.
Would you mind stating your name for the record really quickly?
Sure, sorry, my name is Shamim Manshizit, 1722 North Juniper Circle. And you can just abbreviate my last name with the letter M. Another follow-up question. Are Are there reverter clauses in the development agreements?
Are there what now?
Reverter clauses.
And out.
It's not an out really. A reverter clause is one that, for example, if you say that these things aren't met, then it reverts back to the previous owner. For example, in St. George, we own the property where the DFW is on. But if they ever fail to continue to use that for those purposes, it reverts back to the city of St. George. So we have a reverter clause in there.
Or in the case of AB 1329, it reverts back to open space zoning.
No, there's no reverter for zoning. Zoning is a legislative act. That'd be the same as passing a law that any other legislative act, such as any law, where then you would say, if this doesn't happen, the law goes back to this. That doesn't, there's no such thing as a reverter clause with zoning.
Who's speaking?
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Sean Guzman. I'm the town attorney.
You're the town attorney? Okay.
Yes.
Can I find your information on the web easily?
Yes, and
Under contacts, I think it's there.
it should be. If not, yeah. That's
You've
just
got
what
my email. You can just shoot me an email and give it to you.
I am the St. George City Attorney, I would say, but I do not do Apple Valley business while I'm working at the city, so.
Okay. I'll try and contact you in a few days. I have a few more questions. It sounds like you're the guy to ask them to.
I'd be glad to talk to you.
Thank you. My comment is that I hope in the future, if the decision on AB 1329 comes before the town council, that the mayor will allow public comment on it. That's my comment.
That's what hearings are all about.
Well, public hearings are done on the planning commission level though, and then we listen to those. The public comments are something that we are having right now, but on an agenda item, it's usually at that point, the public comments are taken into consideration. And at that point, we're not having a second public hearing. So you're making these comments right now is fine. In the planning commission, I tune into those and listen. And we read the emails, we pass them around to everybody. So if you send an email with any comments, we always make sure everybody gets a copy of that as well. So we know what everybody's thinking.
Well, I believe that public comment in a hearing like today is discretionary with the mayor. So that's what I'm saying, is that I hope public comment will be accepted when AB 1329 comes before the town council in a meeting. That's all.
It won't be up for a public hearing on the town council level.
I understand that it'll be up for public meeting. I'm just saying that it's discretionary with you whether or not you'll receive public comment in a public meeting. I understand that public comment is allowed at a public hearing.
Yeah, your request is noted.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anybody else have a comment they'd like to make in the meeting or on Zoom?
I just have one question for Janet. Are these the questions that you want us to answer?
I just would like some thought on days before the planning commission meeting.
Okay, all right. I don't see anybody else waving their hands on Zoom.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah, there's one more. Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hey, I'm just joining you. I'm Barry Bornstein. I live at 1622 North Juniper Circle. Thank you for listening. I just wanted to know in the future, when you have a meeting, can we get a notice in a timely fashion so that I just found out about this like at the last minute. And I was hoping that you can send us some sort of information via email or a letter to my house. I've gotten nothing except for the neighbors let me know. Are you planning to do that in the future?
We always do. That's, let's see.
Well, I didn't get anything, so I don't know how you sent it to me. Again, I'm
Sign up.
with all due
You have to
respect,
sign up for it on a public, you have to sign up for emails. It's a public notice website. And you can choose which town, which meeting, and it'll automatically send you, this meeting's been noticed, it's been on our website for several days, not
Okay.
longer. And then there's Apple Valley reminders. If you go to the Apple Valley website, you can click on to sign up to be on the reminders. And I
Okay.
sent out a reminder this morning on that and had a link to the website for Zoom on that as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. I will do that in the future.
If you'll shoot me an email, I'll give you a link exactly where you sign up on the website. So anytime we post any notice for the town of Apple Valley, you can get an email notification from that. It's a state website that we always publish our notices to. And then immediately, you know, as soon as there's a public hearing been noticed, you get that. And when we publish a meeting, it's published there as well, and you get a notice on that as well.
Thank you. Just one last question. The meeting on the zoning change, when do you expect that would take place?
I'm missing the question on the zoning change for what?
1329.
So the
Yeah,
first
sorry.
PC meeting in January would be.
The first PC meeting in January, we'll have a public hearing and they'll look at that.
Do you have a date in January? I'm just trying to get ahead of the crowd.
First Wednesday. They're always the first Wednesday of the month.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Anybody else have a comment based on everything?
I have a question.
Okay.
Christine
Yes,
Stoffer.
can you take the name, please?
Christine Stoffer, on 1536 North Mount Zion Drive. And I don't know, maybe you addressed this earlier, but why, if last week they voted this down with that parcel, why is it still up for options?
The answer to that is the person that's asking, the town council has the final say on any zoning, and he has the option, even though it's turned down, to come to the town council and talk us into it. So it's just part of the process that is built into his rights as a property owner.
And Mayor, just.
By the way, that's an awesome looking Christmas tree. Yeah.
It is a great.
I was gonna say that too.
Mayor, also I would point out that the planning commission by law is a recommending body.
Yeah.
So they can recommend denial, but they're not actually denying it.
Yeah. Did you hear that okay, Christine?
No, I
planning
didn't. Could
commission-
you repeat it?
The planning commission is a recommending body, and the town council is the final say on those issues. So if you don't like what they say, you can come to us. That's how it works.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have anything else?
No, that was my question.
All right, thanks for your comment. Yeah, Mark.
Margaret Osowski, 1024 West Little Canyon. You just made a comment that the guy owns the property and he doesn't own the property yet. So how can you get a zoning change when you don't own the property?
So Mayor, can I address something here? When you take public comment, it's always good to remind the people that are commenting that if it's something that's likely to be on a future agenda, especially one that requires a public hearing, that it shouldn't be discussed by the council at that time. It should wait until the public hearing, because all parties need to have the same notice and right to be there to respond. So I did say that earlier. I know you just took some latitude there with discretion because you wanted to answer the
Well,
question.
we're trying not to give any,
Right, prejudice or, yeah,
Right.
right.
We're just, I get where people are, that's why everybody showed up and they want to talk about it, but this is going to be on the planning commission meeting. That's the meeting to tune into and ask those questions. If you don't mind, I'm going to answer that question though, because I don't feel like it prejudices the transaction at all. I feel like, I heard that so many times in the, planning commission that I was shaking my computer. And, if we have an affidavit in the file, it's the same as the owner standing right there. The owner signed an affidavit, notarized, assigning a person who can act on his behalf. It's the same as if the owner is standing there.
But I don't think the affidavit really said that, and it didn't show as him as the agent.
Well, it's, this is the owner, he's here at this meeting just because of
Okay.
these comments, but it is, and that's how it works.
They have my proxy. I signed and notarized a proxy for them to represent me at this meeting and the other meeting.
And, so anyway, that's, let's just leave this, alone for the, planning commission meeting in the future. And, if no one else has another comment, it's not related to 1329, we'll let you say something. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate you addressing that with her too, because I felt like they needed to hear, they deserve that answer. I'd like to address for just real quickly, Mr. Pay. John, I'm not one of those people who don't like you, by the way. I like you very, very much. I have followed your struggles over the years with your properties and your waters and seen some of the things that you've gone through. And I encourage you, if you want to make application to develop your properties, please do so. I don't know what has happened in the past that's caused you some of the frustrations and challenges you've had, but I would certainly encourage you to go forward with your grant and make application to develop it should you desire to do so. You talked a lot about the struggles and the inabilities of infrastructure we have currently to service some of these projects, and I don't think anybody on this board up here disagrees with that, but it is a growing effort, and it's going to have to take some effort on our part, the landowners, because at the end of the day, the landowners still have their rights to their property to go develop, whether we're ready or not. They're going to have to help, as this applicant is doing, help to pay for some of that infrastructure so he can go develop his properties. And like him and like you, I'm an advocate of landowner rights, and I think you should have the right to go develop. So I would just continue to encourage you to go do so and develop your property should you desire to. So
Right now, my family, my son, we're thinking of putting our land in an irrevocable trust. That land can never be developed. Now, if we put it in an irrevocable trust, they can develop all around me. My 40 acres can never be developed.
Okay.
Because they don't need the money like other people that I know here. And my son said they wouldn't move out here, but we would put it in an irrevocable trust for not my grandkids, my great grandkids, which should be being born right away because my grandkids are getting married. So I won't be around, and neither will Joan. So
I don't
what they need to develop here is a cemetery they've been talking about. All us old people.
You don't have to be in such a great hurry to get there, John. I just want to tell you, I appreciate your struggles. I've seen those over the years, and I encourage you to continue.
Well, I've seen yours too. You've lost a lot of money on a lot of things.
That's what being a dummy does to you.
All right, last chance for public comments.
Things are a lot easier to get into than they are out of. Sometimes when you don't do something, you're better off. Once you get into it, with this economy and this COVID and everything we're in now, the whole world can go backwards now.
Mayor, can I just have a point of clarification on the reason for the delay? Are you saying that it was because the notice was defective and that's why it's being delayed?
Yes, I think it's perfect and our attorney doesn't, and so we always defer to him. So, so we're gonna just agree to disagree on that, and we're gonna let him win. That's how we always do it. So we get along really well that way, so.
We're not letting you win, we're just giving in.
Yeah. It has to do with the newspaper. We don't have a local newspaper in Apple Valley. I tried to get local delivery of the Spectrum, and I can't get even a mail delivery of the Spectrum. And so my argument to him is we don't have a local newspaper.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I read the verbiage in the state code, and he sees it slightly different, so we're gonna just err on the side of caution and let him be the important guy in the room today. So, anyway.
Thank you.
So, I think we've let all these comments go. Let's, I'm gonna go ahead and close the public comment section of the meeting. And let's go down to our favorite part.
I make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.